Hello, welcome to the Reloading Podcast here on the Firearms Radio Network. Presented by Patriot Patch Company and Camerado. And Jim's phone. Or was that Paul's phone?
It had to be Paul because I was muted.
That was me. I just shut it down.
Paul's
I was muted.
Now
Now she mentioned it, I'm going to put my phone on Do Not Disturb and shut it off.
And
Okay.
the Red Wings Canadians game. And the letter T and the number 7.
Okay, Bert.
Bert. That's Ernie. Bert and Ernie.
Gee, Big Bird, I don't know.
What was his
How's
name?
everybody?
The voice behind everybody.
I don't know.
Jim something.
Oh, the creator was Jim Henson.
That's it.
Yeah,
he
but
didn't
the voice
voice-
was all different. Yeah,
He didn't voice most of them. So,
I think he was
Okay.
only Kermit, wasn't he? He was Kermit.
He was Kermit. He was Kermit.
but we weren't even talking about Kermit. Dang, Sesame Street versus.
Yeah, well, I'm going to have to start getting ready for that again. Grandpa again.
Yep.
Almost 20 years difference in age.
My youngest is 3. My oldest is 27. Grandchildren.
Yeah.
Anyway, how's everybody doing tonight?
Not bad. Hey, Eli. You haven't got anybody pregnant, have you?
God, Mike.
Okay, then I still
Mike,
don't
you're
have any
a-
grandkids.
You're a dick, Mike.
Okay, then I still don't have any grandkids.
God, damn. Well, from one dad to another, it's well timed, well done. And
Shuts
make
the
sure
door.
Eli knows you. Make sure Eli knows you were on the air. That's going to go. That's going to go up in
that's
flames
good.
of posterity. One of the two. It's going to go up in flames of posterity.
Congratulations, Woodman. He's finally retired. Jim pretended to retire a few years ago.
Yeah, twice.
And he had this wild hair up his ass to decide to move to North Carolina, and then found out, oh, that means I can't retire anymore.
That's about it. But speaking of North Carolina, I got stuff over the weekend. Over the previous weekend. Put me on full screen, Mike, please. We got the new stick patch of the month out. The Easter Bunny with NVG, slide action shotgun, and an AR-15 AR platform rifle, magazines and cartridges for the shotgun. Energizer Bunny, just sticking it to take off of it.
I don't think
That's
that's,
on
an
me.
AR, dude.
Sure looks it. No, you're right. The handguard's AK style. Anyway, here's a patch. In a little bit, you'll see me put this on my hat for the month. Here's Ryan's original drawing. Oh, it's upside down. Ooh, no wonder I can't read it. Ryan's original drawing. And one of the most precious, most sensible stickers I've ever seen. Invest in precious metals. For those of you that can't read, look at the color of the cartridges and the word metals. Copper and brass. Copper, lead, and brass. But here's the best part right here. I got some of this. I know you can't see it because of the sticker, but I'm trying to give Chico a plug. Wheel weights.
He got
Well, that was nice
lead.
of Chico.
He got lead.
Chico, yeah, I got lead. I got 50 pounds of lead. I got enough lead here to make 1,700 357 caliber, 210 grain weight bullets. Chico, you're a good man. You're going to get some of them. And I thank you kindly, sir.
And Woodman
You take me off hold.
says that he became a grandpa. Oh,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, something
yeah.
like that. I was giving shit about that on Facebook Messenger. Anyway, mute my phone and mute my tablet and change stickers. It's time to change stickers on the hat.
There you go.
Thanks for taking me off full screen.
Mm-hmm. Nick, what you been up to?
I was gone last week due to being
You slacker.
no, I was accepted into the gun club, so I had to attend the gun club meeting.
Congratulations.
Finally have a nice place to shoot. Probably I'd say one of the best gun clubs in the Midwest, if not the best in the Midwest.
Hey, you guys out in the peanut gallery, make sure you give Nick a big kudos and congratulations for joining the gun club and being accepted. Congrats, Nick.
Then over the weekend, Dad and I decided to make the jaunt down to Tulsa for the World's Largest Gun Show, the Wanamaker Gun Show. And I say, if you ever get the chance, at least make it once in your life. It is incredible. It's just so big. I think they say it's 46 acres of guns and ammo and everything you think of.
That's literally the same building where they hold the Chili Bowl, right?
Yep.
Okay. So yes, in January they run midget races in there.
Mm-hmm. It's incredible.
Hey, why do midgets laugh when they run naked?
Oh, jeez. I've heard this before. I just can't remember what it is.
Because grassticles are balls.
But
only if they're guys.
Picked up a couple things.
Are you assuming their gender?
On this show, it's hard to tell.
Okay, back to Wanamaker.
Picked up a couple things. One I can't show on the show, unfortunately.
Why? I don't care if we get taken off YouTube.
Well, I'll show the end of the thing.
I do not care if we get taken off YouTube.
All right.
YouTube can get bent.
So.
Field strip it, Nick.
Actually, that is pretty easy with this gun.
We'll just leave you smaller though, if it makes you feel better.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Show that part. If anybody can figure out what it is. So.
Anybody can figure out what it is on a $100 bill, and he gets it, and you get it.
Oh yeah, no.
Paul, you're a devil.
That is a Walther P1, so post-war P38. We're standing outside before the show floor, before the doors open on Saturday morning. It's raining, so we're standing under the awning, and the guy in front of me has a sign. It says Walther P1 and all sorts of other stuff. I was like, what are you asking for that? It's like, I'll make you the deal of the day. I was like, okay, it's probably $200-300 at least. $100 bill with 3 magazines. Both my dad and I literally pull our wallets out the exact same. I just happened to be the first person to get the $100 out. So couldn't pass on it for $100. They were selling them in the show for $800. A lot of the dealers were. So that dude was probably kicking himself quite a bit. So that
Nick, as anybody remind you, you are a thief. But congratulations any damn way.
I have been running into the good luck a lot of times on guns, but I've had bad luck. So
yeah,
win some, you lose some.
You've had more good luck than bad luck.
I have.
You know. So.
But also got a set of dies. Got a set of 6.5 Jap dies. Lee probably paid a little more, but by the time you pay shipping, tax, all that other stuff, it was probably right about what I would have gotten them for online. I have a set, but I let just dad keep those because he has a 6.5 Jap rifle. And then picked up a bayonet, but it's down in the basement. I wasn't going to run down there to get it. And I picked up some M-block clips. These two original Swiss M-blocks. These are almost super hard to find right now. And when you find them, they're not cheap. These are the pressed cardboard ones that they used. I won't use these to actually load the rifle. These are more for display. And then ran into a buddy of mine that was selling some French 5-round and 1 3-round M-block clips for the French Berthier rifles. So, and I have quite a few, but it was a whole bag. These 4 clips in a bag for like $20, which is a no-brainer because one of the 5-rounders sells for $30 online. So I'm like, yep, make you a good deal. So, like I said, want to make, if you ever get the chance, go. It's an amazing show. Prices are not great. There were some good deals. Most of it was just average price, but a lot of just skyrocket prices. Like people were trying to get for run of the mill, say M1 Grands. People are trying to get almost $3,000 for most of them. Like the cheapest Grand I saw was like $1,800. So, but other than that, there were still some good deals to be had. And I would have came home with a rifle if I didn't already have one. But other than that, nope, good weekend. Dad picked up a couple parts for one of his rifles. He was wanting to get a few parts for, but other than that, no, good weekend. So
Nice.
Paul,
Nice.
how about you?
Well, you all know that I wasn't on last week. Left you kind of in a lurch, but we had a come to Jesus meeting with a certain person, and he has left for a while. Either that or else he was gonna
Go
have
visit
an
the
accident.
pigs.
Yeah, he was gonna have an accident. But now it's just wait to go to the doctor to get the next heart work done. So that's where I'm at. Get it over with.
Yep. So I don't know if I mentioned it last week, but I picked up could be potentially a wall hanger, but it's a Meriden Model 15 pump action 22. It's labeled as a wall hanger, but we don't know. Nobody seems to know who labeled it as a wall hanger at work and why they labeled it as a wall hanger at work. But, since it's a wall hanger, well, I took advantage and got it for quite the big fat discount. So we'll see what happens.
22, right?
Yeah.
And they labeled it as a wall hanger, 22 pump.
Yep. Meriden is the company. Old manufacturer. More famous for their shotguns.
What's the barrel look like?
I haven't looked down the barrel.
Okay.
I suppose I could go grab it and plug the camera in. But maybe. But anyway. So yeah. But yeah, I really haven't dug into it yet, so I'll figure it out. But
it should be hard. That one shouldn't be hard to figure out. That one, if it's got an extractor on it, the firing pin works, and there ain't much to fix in those firing pins. You should be able to go pretty good on it.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the deal is with it. So, and then we got a Remington Model 6 in.
Ooh.
Actually, I shouldn't say Model 6. I should say Remington number 6. There's a difference. So, the Model 6 is actually a center fire rifle, whereas a number 6 is a falling block 22. This one is in fantastic shape. And it's in my price range, so I put it on hold. So now I just got to figure out how I'm going to pay for it. But unlike my number 4, which is beat to heck and probably not really shootable because it's a takedown, but the barrel doesn't really latch back together like it's severely tight. I mean, it's a 22, so yeah, there's not a lot of pressure, so it's not going to blow apart or anything, but still. So this one's a really nice version. But so I've got that on hold now. But also, since baseball has started, went to my first Brewer game on Sunday this season. Not my first game ever. Yes, Jim?
The Marines are in town. I can hear the 155 thumping away down in Fort Bragg.
Cool.
You might. Can you hear that over the?
Nope.
Just another one.
Mm-mm. That'd be
Okay.
fun.
Well, anyway, you talking about big guns?
Yeah,
Ooh,
155 Mike's make some noise.
especially when they land. Ooh,
I got a question
there's
for
2
you,
of them right
Jim.
there, sir.
How would he go about tightening up those threads on that 22 that doesn't lock together very well?
It's not threaded.
It isn't? Okay.
I would say probably the best way to do it would be to try to get a tapered pin in there. The way to make a tapered pin, well, you start out with something at smallest diameter and work it up large, like
Yeah,
hanging
it's
in a
not
drill press.
Yep, it's not threaded.
It's like a steel
I'll-
dowel pin, Paul.
I'll have to figure out where it is, and I'll send you pictures sometime, Paul.
Okay. Because I've dealt with with the interrupted thread guns before, and if you can massage the teeth back a little bit on both ways, you can get them to lock up better. When working from the back end to the front. I just wondered if Jim had another way of doing with a threaded type gun.
Threaded, I would try peening the threads very, very lightly.
Yeah.
Trying to take the peaks, instead of having them nice and sharp, maybe lower them down a little bit and cause the metal to bulge sideways about midpoint on the crest, distance between the crest and the root. You don't want very much, though. You don't want very much because you'll never put it together or take it apart if you do it wrong.
Yeah, but that's why you start on the back end of it. So as it slides together, the back ends meet and they get to lock up more.
Yep, when it bottoms out, that's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
When it bottoms out, it's going to jam just a little bit, as it should.
Right. So, okay, we solved that problem.
Yeah, it's nice to see the Marines are back in town for the year. They come in. This is the 7th time I've listened to them power the 155s. First time I heard it, didn't even know what it was. Never been around artillery that big.
So, this is the number 4. This is the end of the barrel. And then this is the other end of it. So basically what it is this part slides in. And then there's a little part that the latch grabs onto and pulls it tight.
Okay.
And the part that the latch is supposed to grab and pull tight is worn.
Okay. So we can fix that. That's fixable.
So, I mean, theoretically, I could weld the piece back on, then grind it back to proper shape. Or just weld onto there and then grind it back down to correct shape. So
you got the first thing you got to do is you got to look at the lever that grabs it, and see if that's worn a lot.
Yeah.
Because that would be the piece that would be the softest, and
Yep.
might be the piece that you want to add to or recut the latch, the mechanism.
Yeah.
Mike,
What?
on screen. Good suggestion from Tommy Boy.
Use a split pin?
Yep. Good suggestion from Tommy Boy.
So, and thank you, Woodman, for the Go Brew crew. So, yeah, I was there Sunday, as they beat the crap out of the Cincinnati Reds, 8-2.
Nick's over there shaking his head like a big dog. I don't think he likes the Brewers.
He's a Cardinals fan. And let's see, where are the Cardinals right now?
You're muted, Nick.
If you literally look at the stats of the team, we're like in the top 5 as far as stats. But we can't win a damn baseball game. It's annoying. Gave up 18 runs. And we've literally like 3 of the games have been football scores.
Oh, look. They're 4-6.
Yeah. Less than the damn
look.
Pirates.
The Brewers are 5-5. Oh, and they had 3 of those football games too. They started off the year that way with actually 4 of them.
You invited it, Nick. You invited it, buddy.
We just want pitching. That's the only thing. We have no pitching.
Have you looked at our injured list? All but one of our starting pitchers are on the injured list, and 3 of the starting pitchers that we called up from our AAA affiliate are on the injured list. We just traded for a prospect from the Red Sox yesterday, so we could actually have 2 starting pitchers theoretically. And you're complaining about starting pitching?
Our manager's terrible. Our front office is terrible. That's what I'm complaining really about.
I'll give you that.
Our front office is absolutely.
I'll give you that.
They're not out there playing the game either. They're not out there playing the game either.
I'll give you that.
The stadium was built in 2006. Our new stadium. Yep. They just set the record low. First time ever under 20,000 this year. People are protesting because of the front office.
That's sad. I mean,
yeah, we're pissed off. We have the money. Spend it.
I mean, there's truly like 4 baseball towns in America.
Mm-hmm.
It's New York, Boston, Chicago, and St. Louis. That no matter how good or bad the team is, the stadium sells out. So that's Yankee Stadium, Fenway, Wrigley, and Busch Stadium the 13th.
Yeah, no, it's getting annoying.
The fact that they are having less than the Brewers for attendance is pretty sad, because the Brewers' attendance on Sunday was 25.
Yeah, let's see.
Which actually for the Brewers this early in the season is pretty good.
Well, and and that's why we were talking about it. There's a lot of people protesting, not going to the games, first of all, and it's school still. So that's partially another reason why the attendance is so low. Kids are still in school, so they can't attend night games, or they don't really attend night games. But the last home game before our road trip, let's see, schedule. We had an attendance of, let's go the Friday night game, because that'll be the bigger crowd. 21,000.
Wow.
For the weekend against the Angels, mind you, Mike Trout's in town, so one of the top players in the league. 21,000, 21,000, and 20,000. Yeah, we were under 30,000 in every game besides opening day. Yeah. It's people are protesting bad.
Yeah, I guess.
Tickets are as cheap as $3 in a lot of the games this year, right now.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
$3
it's-
for a ticket at Busch?
Yeah. My
Wow.
sister's gotten $1 tickets before for outfield bleacher seats.
And I don't even think Euchre seats are that cheap anymore. But so when they built Miller Park, aka American Family Field, the seats way up top behind home plate are the only limited obstructed view seats in the entire park. And so what they did is they called them the Euchre seats, and they originally were $1 a ticket, walk up only. Otherwise, everything else, I mean, the seats we were sitting in we were low second level. I mean, I literally could have spit on the right field foul pole, and so they were $35 a piece. Now we didn't pay that because we were with our insurance, life insurance group, who they're one of those life insurances that they give back because it's the way they're set up. So we had an outing.
I can get Cub Cardinal tickets for let's see, it's a Thursday afternoon. Well, no, let's do this one. The cheapest, a Tuesday 6:45 start. Chicago Cubs versus St. Louis Cardinals. One of the biggest rivalries in baseball. $12.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's how cheap Cardinal tickets are right now.
My
It's
goodness.
insane. Yeah,
And are you buying those tickets?
I'm not. It's a Monday. I can't go on a Monday. I'm not driving
Oh.
4 hours to a baseball game. If I'll go
All
see a
right.
baseball game, I'll pay the cheap tickets to go see the Royals. Those are actually enjoyable games to watch right now because the young prospects they have coming here.
Yeah. So. But
That's my little soapbox. So
yeah, I don't blame you for being mad at the front office.
haven't made a playoff run in 10 years.
I don't know. It's been a while.
11 was the last World Series.
Yeah.
I'm used to every 10 years a World Series title.
Hey,
The way
you
they
guys at least
played.
got a World Series ring. So
Oh, that's right. You don't, unfortunately. I forget about that.
we've been to one, and that was in '82.
I've seen 2 in my lifetime. So
Yes.
06 and 11.
I've seen. How many Cardinals World Series have I seen?
So you probably saw 85. Well, no,
Yep.
never mind. Scratch that. We didn't win 85.
No, but you
We
were there.
lost. We lost in a bogus call.
To the other Missouri team.
Yeah. They won one in the 80s. Didn't they? Well, you had 06 and 11. Oh my gosh, I'm going to look this up. I should know these.
Yes, baseball is important. Shut up.
The
So
cheapest.
you saw 80. You saw 3, Mike, probably. Well,
I
maybe 2
remember-
more.
Well,
64
yeah,
and
I mean-
67? Probably not.
No.
82, 06, and 11 then.
My first World Series I can remember is, I want to say, Dodgers in '80.
Yeah, that's probably about right. Yeah.
I remember the '82 series. Yeah, so I mean
Yeah.
that one pissed me off.
Even if we didn't win the World Series, we were in the World Series 67, 68, 82, 85, 87, 04, 06, 11, and 13. And then we've just been we've been nothing since then. So
At least you're not the Cubs.
yeah, that's true. I will take that. Thank goodness. I have plenty of friends that are Cubs fans. So
Or the White
Just so you know, I just looking up a ticket that's for April 22nd for the Cubs at 6:40 p.m. The cheapest one is $59
Oh, at Wrigley?
at Wrigley.
oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they still have some Maker Mark barrel room tickets left at $1,009 a piece.
Oh my gosh. No way.
Limited.
Yeah, but is that all you can eat?
Oh my God. I'm just looking at.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, there's also the suite the Rose Suite, and that's $18,969.
To answer Jim's comment, it's not, the city of St. Louis isn't that. There's neighborhoods that are bad. But if you stay down by the ballpark, you're fine. I've been to plenty of night games. I've never had any issues. Yeah, especially if you park there next to the stadium, there's no issues. Don't stop in East St. Louis. Just keep on driving.
Uh-huh.
Like if I go to a day game, I'll park over at the Casino Queen, ride the metro over. But I won't do that at a night game. I'll park next to the stadium for night games. But no, I've been to probably 30, 40 games in my life and never had any issues.
I don't even know how many Brewer games I've been to, because I mean, we used to go in the 80s, we used to go to at least 5 a year, including, I know I went to at least 2 the 82 season. Always used to sit out in left field bleachers at County Stadium. God, that place was a dump, but it was fun. But you know what's really fun is going to the we've got so it's kind of funny. The guy that owns the shoebox here in Blackworth, it's a huge shoe store. They do a lot of business local, plus they do a lot online. But he's a lifelong Cardinals fan. But he is just a baseball fan in general. And so originally we had the Muskies here, which was Oakland A's minor league affiliate. So I actually got to watch Jose Canseco play minor league ball when I was a kid, along with his brother Ozzie and quite a few other up and coming A's and some other, come through. Well, then Oakland pulled it and we didn't have anything. And then for probably 15 years, they tried to come up with all sorts of different teams to fill it. No luck. And so then the owner of the shoebox, who was a huge baseball fan, talked to the city of Madison. And so what he did is he created a league. It's for college kids to play summer ball. They don't get paid, so it doesn't affect their eligibility. They go and stay with, they have families that volunteer to house the kids and feed them and everything like that. And then everything like that. I don't know how it will be now with NIL. I imagine they'll probably get some sort of pay and stuff. But the kids get to come play summer ball. And so it keeps the ticket prices down and everything. And it's just like a regular minor league game, only more fun. So, because you don't have quite the same rules as you do like in a regular, minor league baseball game. As far
Is it the
as
Northwoods?
Yeah, the Northwoods League.
Yeah.
Robin Yount's got a team in the league now. There's a couple other former major leaguers that have teams in the league now.
There's one for sale you can actually buy right now. I saw a video on it the other day.
I wonder what it's going for. Let's buy a minor league team and we'll call it the Reloaders.
$2.1 million.
Jeez. That's not bad.
No, that's probably stadium and all. It's located in Minnesota.
Oh, okay.
When it is. They don't say.
Yeah, that's not bad. But the nice thing is the place the ballpark they were playing at had really gone to heck because nobody had been putting money into it because they couldn't afford to. And so that was the nice thing, is not having to pay the players allowed all of these owners to be able to put money into the facilities to be able to make the facilities nice and to be able to make it a nice experience to go out. And then the kids get to play summer ball. We get to go watch a good ball game. So it's fun. But I probably got a couple of, last year we didn't go, but before COVID, especially, we were going to 2, 3, 5 a year, as opposed to going to the Brewers, because going to a Brewer game was, for the 4 of us was, probably $1.50, whereas going to a Mallards game was maybe 70. So, but yeah, definitely happy to have baseball back. So, which means the weather's getting warmer, which means everybody gets to spend more time outside, which means more shooting. I didn't get to go last weekend, but hopefully this weekend I will. So, Jim, did you get to go pull triggers recently?
Did I get to do what?
Pull triggers?
No. I had to have some surgery last Friday. I'm not doing much of anything right now.
Oh, that sucks. Oh, that's why you got your hat pulled down. It's hiding the lobotomy scar. Okay.
Oh,
Just remember, like they used to say, I'd rather have a bottle in front of me than a frontal lobotomy. Paul should recognize that. Jim might. I don't know how far east Dr. Demento's show went, but I know it was in the Chicago area.
Dr. Demento was one freaking wacko rascal.
Oh, but he was so hilarious.
Oh, he was.
And the song sums me up
insane.
perfectly. They're coming to take me away, ha ha ho ho he, to the funny farm where life is happy all the time. We used to play those
Dr.
songs.
Demento, Dr. Demento.
So Nick has no clue.
Freaking wacko that had a collection of everything in the way of records, Nick.
And now
He was
everybody
a DJ. He was a DJ and a character, both at the same time.
Yeah,
everybody in the chat is when we're going to start talking about reloading. Okay.
Yep. Me too.
So this was in one of these is from the podcast group. The other one was from the Reloading Room. And I did comment in both posts that we were going to cover it tonight. So, excuse me. Shoulder bump question. Standard procedure, take a fired case, measure it with a headspace gauge, reset caliper to 0, and resize case to get your correct bump, e.g. 002, set your die to start cranking. Here's my point. That was one case out of 100, let's say, that was the longest or the shortest case, which could and will distort the bump for other cases. Okay, so that's kind of typed goofy. Let's say the one case you choose was the longest of all the cases, or it was the shortest of all the cases. Could it and will it distort the bump for the other cases?
yeah.
Absolutely.
Measured a sample of 30 cases, and there was a 0.0065 with the average median and mode coming in at 1.535, 6 millimeter Creedmoor cases. Is that 0.0065 spread something we just live with, or do we need to measure a sample batch before bumping the shoulder back? Appreciate hearing what others do. Thank you, Guy.
For the most accuracy, you're going to take and measure out your cases, find the longest one. Set your die with that longest one with a 2,000 or 1.5, 10,000 bump, and go that way. Once you set that die, everything else that says that you've reached the maximum part of your chamber with that longest case, and everything else will work itself out to when it reaches its full fire form mode, it will be the same. It will all balance out. So, but you go by the longest case.
But statistically speaking, Paul, not to dispute or to say that you're wrong, I don't disagree with you at all. But aren't we actually trying to find an average for everything?
Well,
No.
if you're taking for accuracy, if you're taking for to take it, you want to take the longest case, and because that if you take a shorter case, and that means it hasn't fully filled the chamber, okay, so
Mhm.
you're getting too much headspace then. If
Mhm.
I'm 2,000 smaller in one than the other, and then all of a sudden my longest case is 1 point. What was his number that he came up with? 1.5.
Call 1,500, Paul. 1,500.
Yeah.
Let's go so.
It's all of a sudden you've doubled the headspace. Okay, so all of a sudden, and going from 2,000's headspace, you now got 4,000, and that's not good for accuracy. And if you got a real short one, and you could end up with 12,000, in setback, because you got, your case was 6,000 short. So no, you find the longest case.
Mhm. Which means you might have a batch of 100. You might measure 99 or even 100 before you find the longest case.
Fired cases, yes. Your fired case,
Yep.
yes.
Yeah,
Well,
you're going to have to measure every single one. I mean, that's a given.
Yep.
If you're going for accuracy, you don't shortcut.
Yeah.
You
That's
have
right.
to measure every single one. You don't assume anything. And yeah, you have to measure the longest one. I mean, if you go with the shortest one, then what happens, like Paul was saying, is now you're going to screw up your head spacing, but also now you're going to be pushing back your longer cases a lot farther than you want to.
Mhm.
So,
and you could cause.
I just want to bring these points out. That's why I asked a stupid question.
no, it's not a stupid question.
You could also lead to case head separation too.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's a fact. That is a fact.
You have to find your longest case. And you may not get it in the first your first firing. Okay, it may not happen if you're too low and too light on your fire form load. All brass moves independently of itself, even from the same lot. You may have something that's going to change. Like he's got 6 thou that he's got the differences in. Yeah, you're gonna find differences. You treat your brass right. Don't go hog wild on your first loading, so you overstretch the brass and cause problems because it was too short when you fired it. It blows out the case head, the shoulder, everything gets formed out, and you may cause other problems that way. But start with a good mid to low high end load for your fire forming. Form your brass, fire it one time, measure it, find out where you're at. Longest case, you're going to get one that's going to show different than all the rest of them. And take that case, use that as your longest. Set your shoulder back, that 2 thou or 1.5 thou, depending upon what you're doing, and go from there. It's it's tedious. Yes, there's a lot that goes into it. Don't cheap out on your calipers. Get a good set. And not the one thing I'm going to say is when you use your headspace gauges that you have, do not translate that to that is the actual measurement of the headspace to your gun. That's different. You can't measure that with a mass-produced piece of tooling that is soft aluminum.
You're right, because that headspace gauge is going to be made out of hardened tool steel.
Right.
And it looks like I'm having bandwidth trouble.
But that's just don't use it as, you know, a statement. Just use it to find the longest case and how to set it back from there.
I'm still here, Mike.
I see.
And if you have, you know, a set of Reading bushings, shell holders, they're competition shell holders, you can use those to set your shoulder back. So, you know, that will set you back because they're in 2000s measurements. You can use those to find the right one to set your shoulders back. Easy.
I know, I understand exactly what you mean, Paul. The thing is, like I said, I was just trying to bring out a couple points, but we're going for accuracy. We're not going for precision so much. Yes, they're consistent. Yes, the two work hand in hand. I know that. I sound like I contradicted myself. I didn't mean it that way. We're going for accuracy.
Yeah.
We have to do everything else the same as we do that long case. There's your precision.
Exactly. We have to, in order to get precision, you have to be precise in your measurements and consistently precise in your measurements.
Correct.
Exactly.
So, and that's why I say, you know, buy yourself a good set of Starrett, Mitutoyo digital calipers. Buy yourself a good micrometer. Whatever you think of tools you need, think very good quality. That's what you're looking for. And the other thing is to practice with your calipers and how to use them.
Mm-hmm.
Because you put too much pressure on it and you can vary tooth owl without a problem.
You're treating it like a C-clamp instead of a precision measuring tool.
Right. You're just supposed to push it up and bump it. That's it.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is the biggest thing is consistency. So
yeah, I mean if you sit down and take the jaws and take your fingers and push down with your thumb and two fingers, you're going to put a whole lot different pressure on that caliper with a cartridge case in there and the headspace gauge than if you take your thumb on the wheel and slowly push it up and touch and bump that case. You'll get a different reading.
Yep. Different pressure.
Right.
Because it is I guess malleable, I guess is the best, you know, brass.
Not
is
so much
malleable.
malleable, Mike. It's more as this, like you're stretching the frame of the calipers or the micrometer.
Well, that too.
Because I've tested myself several times. I could use a set of calipers and a mic, and the readings are interchangeable.
Yeah. So.
But that's
But
Yeah.
you're stretching the frame of the tool more than anything else.
Okay.
Right.
I always thought you were just kind of curling the
Well,
lip over
like
the neck just a little bit.
Well, that's a good point. You can do that too. If you do that, you really are moving metal. But you're talking about like on the mouth of the case where you got a chamfer inside and on the outside and taper on
Yeah.
the inside. You got a sharp edge there. You're going to roll that over with if you
I
put
mean,
enough
you
pressure
can
on that.
you roll over 1,000th.
Yep.
Or I mean, you could easily roll over 100th and not even realize it, because that's not going to be something you're going to really see with your eye. 1/10 you
Somebody
would,
moved
but not 100th.
hundreds of thousands or 100,000s. Yeah.
100th of an inch.
Okay, that's 10,000ths. That's a lot of metal to move. If somebody does that, I wouldn't trust her. I wouldn't trust her reloading, much less trust her ammo.
So,
But anyway,
I'm
the
just
point
saying.
is, you can go ahead, Mike.
I'm just saying, if you're pushing down on the calipers hard enough, you could. So, but anyway, that's enough of that. So,
Next question.
Yep. Jerry wants to know, is there a specific temperature your barrel heats to while shooting that it starts affecting accuracy? The reason I included this one is because there really isn't an easy answer for it.
Yeah.
And I wanted to point that out.
I think Mr. Nelson and I are going to say the same thing.
Probably. That truck axle you shoot in your 280 AI and the truck axle that I have in my 6 GT is going to be a whole lot different than the heavier hunting taper that I have on a 7mm Remington Magnum. So our truck axles are going to hold a lot of heat in, and they're going to spread it out faster because there's a lot of mass there. Whereas in the 7 Remington Magnum, there isn't a lot of mass. And in some of the lighter rifles that are out there with the pencil barrels, there's even less mass. So mass absorbs heat. Mass takes a while to let the heat go, but it takes a longer time for it to heat a temperature up to where it will start moving. Whereas a pencil barrel, as it gets hot, it will start moving. And I'm going to say somewhere in the outside, when you're measuring the outside, you're going to see something in the neighborhood of 300 to 450 degrees when the barrels will start moving. Prairie dog towns, you can easily get a barrel up to 400, 450 degrees. Inside of that barrel, but you see 35, 100 degrees in the inside of a barrel without a problem on every cartridge you fire.
That's when you take.
In other words, it depends. It depends upon the environment, the quality of the barrel, the wall of the barrel, the thickness of the barrel, diameter of the bore. It depends upon the shooter. It depends upon the stock the rifle's in. It all depends. But what is the average temp? What would be the actual temperature? I'm going to dispute with you a little bit, Mr. Nelson, and that would be on the temperature. I would think at 100 degrees, that barrel could start moving and expanding.
Oh, it's going
Pencil
to
barrel.
expand. Yeah, it's going to expand, but it's 3 shots. You put 3 shots through a pencil barrel, you're in the 300-degree range.
Yep.
And all we're looking for on those is 3 rounds, right? For a pencil barrel to group.
Yep.
We're not sitting there, with our truck axles and sitting there saying, click, click, okay, bang, click, click, bang. I put 10 rounds down range in 5 minutes or less. It doesn't affect them that much. it may burn the insides out because the amount of heat that we're pushing down the barrel.
Again, I say it depends, because the other thing too you need to include in that factor is the fact that the guy on the back end of that 7 mag is tired of getting punished for shooting 3 rounds.
Yeah.
Recoil has
Yeah.
something to do with it too.
But heat-wise, as I'm just talking just the barrels, you can get a 7 mag with 3 rounds, and by the time you get to the 4th round, the barrel's starting to move. And you can take Jim's 280 AI with a truck axle in it, and you put 10 rounds in there before it even thinks it wants to.
That's right.
Because it's got so much more mass to
Mhm.
take and distribute that heat. And the other thing is the harmonics of the thicker steel. It takes more to make that move.
Hell, even the alloy of the steel is a big factor.
Yeah. So, but it's an interesting subject because it's going to depend upon the bore, what the bore size is, what the exterior dimensions are, the steel makeup, how fast everybody is shooting, the person is shooting, the exterior temperature, exposed to sunlight or in the shade.
Well, speaking of moving, start heating a barrel up. Have you ever made a mistake of leaving your rifle on the bench and the sunshine on it? And the next thing you know, you grab a hold of the barrel and it's like, oh, damn, that thing's got hot quick. Yeah, you've done it, Paul. I know you have. So have I.
Yeah, well, I've been prairie dog shooting. You're out in the sun. It's 80 degrees outside, and you
Beautiful
try to
day and
yeah.
scorch your hand.
Oh, it's easy to do that, especially if it's a good town. You're sitting there, doing this all the time. Moving that bolt back and forth. Getting everything hot. Then you sit down and realize how hot everything is, and you realize that's why they make gunsmiths, and you keep going. But yeah, it's
Just sitting here watching Nick soak it all in. Good for you, Nick.
No, I'm with you. It's a hard to figure out when it's too hot. And like on some of my rifles, I don't push 5 or 6 rounds pretty quick. I try to let it, especially the old stuff, like say my Martini Henrys. Yeah, they're made out a lot of times iron and stuff like that, but it's still, I just don't want to push the pressures and potentially cause an issue in that barrel down the future. So I try to fire 1 or 2 rounds, let it sit for a little bit, kind of just kind of repeat that process. Especially when I'm shooting black powder, fouling starts to settle up after 4 or 5 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but again, you're sitting there going, if it's a big bore, you're sitting there with a large bore, okay, a thin wall.
Yep.
Compared to my 6 millimeters or 22s or whatever, we've got tremendously thick walls compared to that. It doesn't take much to get them to start moving.
Yeah. And most military rifles aren't going to be a super thick wall because they didn't develop the barrel to be thick because you need to be able to carry in combat to have not
and they were
25, 30 pound rifle.
Begin with. They were heavy to begin with.
Yep.
So I mean, they were looking at what 32 to 36 inch barrels. Some of them 40.
Yeah. Martini's a 32-inch barrel, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So
and we think of a military rifle barrel now at 15 inches, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Or a leg rifle at 20 inches. You go back to the M14 and the M1 Grand, and you're at 22 inches.
Mm-hmm. And that rifle wasn't light. That was still 11-pound rifle.
Right.
It wasn't light. By the time you have that, your ammo, your gear, your helmet, you're over 60, 70 pounds of stuff on you. So they had to make the rifle as light as possible to be able to handle it. And think about it, especially in World War II, most of your guys were 100 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah.
So it was no easy task.
Yeah. Nowadays, you sit down and you get a Marine grunt that's got to carry an 80-pound pack, but at least he's big enough to do that. Whereas that used to be a 100-pounder with an 80-pound pack.
So I was taking a class years ago. I don't remember what it was about. I think it was one of the rifleman classes I took years ago. And the gentleman he's a big historian like I am. And he would talk about back, say, Revolutionary times. All you had was your rifle, your uniform, your bag of balls, wads, and your powder horn. Sometimes if you're in the Federal Army, you would have a pack. Pretty lightweight, say 10 pounds at most. But you didn't have much. We kept getting heavier and heavier and heavier and heavier just through time. It's just crazy.
Well,
they keep throwing more stuff on them.
In the Civil War, you saw a lot of Southerners have just a bedroll that they would.
Yeah, they tie that bedroll and then put it around that
bedroll. They put their their food or whatever they had to take with them. Their biscuits and everything else. To have something to during a march or whatever to eat. Packs, most of the packs the cavalry had, they were put on the horse. So there was still a lot of heavy guns, but there was a lot of wood involved in it. There was a lot of other, the irons and steels that they used at the time was a lot different than what we have now. And when did they switch from Damascus when making their barrels? I can't remember. Or was that just shotgun? I think they did
shotgun was up until the 20s. Or 1890s is when that really kind of started to die off. More shotgun.
But they made rifle barrels with Damascus by putting the rib down the steel and wrapping it to give it the twist rate that they wanted.
I don't remember that might have been the early 1800s.
Early 1800s, okay.
Yeah, especially like your long rifles. They stopped that. I know the closest thing to that was the Carcano in the 1890s. They were messing with that. I call it jump rifling. It's where it would the rifling would not be one consistent rifling down the barrel. It would be it would go from say 1 and 7 to 1 and 12. Or gain twist is what it's called. Gain twist,
yeah.
So that was the last big hurrah weird thing that you would see. Then we were really just starting to go into your steels and then wooden, of course. Yeah. We got rid of they changed from iron barrel, especially the British, they changed from the iron barrels to steel barrels during the Snyder, which would have been the 1870s. Yeah, when they went from the Mark II to Mark III for the Snyder, they changed from an iron barrel in the Mark II to a steel barrel for the Mark III.
Okay. So right there, right there, you have the differences in metals as far as how it affects the rifle heating up. And when did we switch?
That's a good question. I'm not sure on that one.
I mean, we had our Springfields; they were still a lot iron in them, right?
Yeah, an 1863 Springfield, I think, weighs 9 pounds. Right, 9 pounds.
Okay.
But the big thing about that is that weight's so distributed over such a long. I think it's 56-inch long gun complete, which is no short gun by any means. No. And then by the time you put your bayonet on top of that, it was taller than most of the soldiers back then. So
That's like Jim with his 280 AI with the 32-inch barrel. You know,
It's only 28, you rascal. Behave. 28 inches. I couldn't find a case that was long enough I almost couldn't find a case that was long enough to contain the rifle.
Well, you know where to get them, right?
Yeah, I do. I got one.
Creedmoor Sports carries the longer ones.
Well, the thing is, if I'd gone any longer, I'd have to buy a custom-made case. You know what that would do to my expenses.
No, I mean, if you're talking of a cloth case, right? Or a little canvas case, right? Or a hard case.
Mine is, yeah, it's made of pixelated camo pattern.
Okay, but it's
By Voodoo.
Right. So, but Creedmoor Sports, because they sell a lot of F-class rifle accessories, where they use the 32-inch and so on barrels, they make a case that will fit your gun without a problem.
I just couldn't see putting 4 more inches on the barrel because I think I'm just about to the point of diminishing returns.
Okay.
Yes, I could push that rascal with a mild load, very mild load, but yet my bullets go out to the end of the barrel at the bottom end of your 7 mag velocity.
Mm-hmm. And you're only 2 inches shorter than most 7 mags. Wow.
Yeah. Well, I won't question that. Anyway, next question, Mike. I think we beat this one up pretty bad. Woodman must have submitted the question.
I don't see a question from him earlier. Paul, to answer your question, I just looked it up. The U.S. switched from iron barrels to steel barrels for the 1873 trapdoor.
Okay.
That's when the U.S. switched. And I was thinking it's right around there.
Well, it had to be after the Civil War. I knew that.
Yeah, because that was right after the Allen conversion test when they took trapdoor 1863s and made them into a trapdoor. But yeah, so it's the 73.
Okay. Now we got Mike's circle here, and on his 22 that he's looking at, that needs to lock up better. Is that the extractor there? You gotta unmute yourself, Mike.
Still muted, Mike.
Oh, that would help. So that's the barrel assembly upside down. And what you're looking at is you're looking at the groove that's up. So
right
if
there,
you flip that over, that slides in here. And then it's held in place.
I see it now. I recognize the mechanism.
Okay.
That he rolls that pin over and that tightens everything. Yep, just like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll get the rust off of it and see if it pin
wiggles. Yeah, see that's his gun though, so that's not
okay.
mine.
All right. But if it's clean, and then if you look at the action of how that rolls on there, you can take and.
But it's the barrel part that's worn on mine. So that groove that's in there, that's even bigger.
Okay, I'm just trying to explain that you don't worry about the groove so much as you worry about the pin. Okay, the pin is the locking part.
Yep.
You want to make the pin a little more oblong, out around, so it expands to fit the lock in it. You agree, Jim? Or would
The
you
hard
feel
part would
that-
be to expand the metal of the pin. That would be the hardest part, is expanding it, getting that pin to, as you roll it over, to increase the diameter.
Well, if I moved it over, it would work. In other words, put a more oblong into it.
I know what you mean.
So, yeah, Woodman, I don't know what the deal is.
I'm wondering if he's
I just
putting a
even
word
went.
in there that's kind of making YouTube not post it.
Yeah.
I've had that before. You kind of have to like dumbify the YouTube comment box type thing.
Yeah, whatever the comment was, it's not showing up. So, whatever it was. In the meantime,
Yes, Tommy boy, it would work. You could peen the barrel recess to make the recess smaller as a fix too, and it could be done as a permanent fix if you do it right.
But you're going to have to move some metal to do that.
Yep.
You have to move it carefully and uniformly.
so next
I know
up,
the next question for me is going to be, what would I use to do that? Well, obviously I'm going to start with a ball peen hammer. Also going to take and get a nice flat nose punch and try to put a little dome on it.
so I got a package in the mail today from Tactical Snacks.
Just what you need.
Right? So Tactical
Look at that.
Snacks is actually a company that is affiliated with Endosnake. So, and so what they did is they sent me out a couple of their tactical snacks for me to try out. And the idea here is it's a better for you kind of candy type thing. So they sent me a watermelon Overwatch, and they sent two varieties. They sent the protein gummies and the sour gummies. Sour gummies I'll save for later, because a lot of people say they're sour, and they're never sour. So I don't know. I'll try them later and see if they're actually sour. But for now, I just want to try the. Well, that's weird. I just want to try the regular protein gummies, and we'll see what they taste like. So I'm taking my CRKT letter opener, and I'm opening it. So. I think he tried to type it there.
Oh, he said he tried to resubmit it and it still did not come through. Woodman, I would suggest you get to Rumble and try there. Because YouTube is giving us problems. And what do you think, Mike? 2 thumbs up, 1 thumb up, 2
Good
thumbs
flavor.
down. Okay.
Definitely good flavor. They were not as squishy as I thought they were going to be. Definitely, but they're not hard. It's not like some gummy bears you found like 3 days later that have been left open.
Mm-hmm.
They're actually pretty good. So, yeah, definitely something I would eat some more of. I don't know if they would give you energy or not, so we'll have to see. I'm gonna try 2 tonight, and I'll save the rest for later. Eat them tomorrow at work or something. Woodman, you can also text it to 608-467-0308, and I'll get it that way. So
I would like to answer Tommy Boy's comment if you don't mind.
go ahead.
Well, Tommy Boy, Woodman tried 3 or 4 times to get his comment to come up, and YouTube won't let him. He's tried to put right here in the same chat. You put your comment about typing it right here. Well, you did 3 or 4 times. YouTube will not allow it to post.
Yeah, he must
Please
have
carry on,
something
Mike.
in it that YouTube's catching or deeming unnecessary or unsafe or something. I've had that on other chats before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it leaves credence to maybe those sour ones actually are sour, because these do have a little bit of a sour aftertaste to them. So, but for the whole bag, it's 70 calories versus 175. Only 7 grams of carbs, only 3 grams of sugar. Actually has 6 grams of fiber. Tommy Boy, then you don't talk very nasty, do you? And 8 grams of protein. So I would be worried about the fiber, though. Although maybe that's a good thing. I could use some more fiber in my life, I think. I've reached that age.
Mike, can you repeat that Reloading podcast phone number again 2 or 3 times, please?
Six 608-467-0308. There you go.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Yeah, so not bad at all.
They look good.
Yeah. So and the sours are even better, actually. The sours, 3 grams of sugar, 21 grams of net carbs, 12 grams of fiber, and 55 calories per bag. So yeah, it's pretty sweet. They've also got Raspberry Recon Breach Peach. So yeah, I definitely am gonna want to try the other flavors too. It's pretty good. So I'll have to do some serious a serious review of it. So, but yeah, definitely. So anyway, I'm gonna leave you guys for a second because the joy of water pills has attacked.
Can you? Okay, I think I have the next question still up. We only had the 2 questions. The first one was about the pumping the headspace, a couple thousandths, and the second one was about the specific temperature when the metal starts moving. And I think I'm frozen up. At least, Paul, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Good enough.
So is Nick.
Nick?
Yep, I'm here.
We're here. So we've been here for an hour and 19 minutes. We've gotten 2 questions asked, and from Tommy Boy.
He wants to know what do you like? How about do you like an MIL MilDOT or MOA minute of angle scope and why? There's good reasons for both, Tommy boy. It's easier to measure distance, easier to measure targeted distance with MilDOT.
Yeah. Simpler math.
Yep.
Math is easier. Because it's based on the series of 10. So that's the easy part of MilDOTs. Your conversion is 1 mil is 3.6 inches or 0.36 for a tenth. So as you see, you're working in tenths. And if you know what a mil is, as you go out, you can measure if you have a known dimension, say a doorway, or the height of a car or something, you can put a number to it and figure out the distance. MOA is a little harder. The conversion is a little, because it usually works in tens and MOA. So you'd have a quarter inch, so you'd be moving a quarter, a half, 3/4, a full inch, and then you have to be able to multiply that out. And MOA is 1.047 inches, so it's a little bit harder to do it because you're not dealing with a perfect measurement. In other words, an MOA is different than an inch.
Oh yeah. Most people ignore that 47,000 you just mentioned, Paul. I've been guilty of it myself, but once I got that 2AAI, I stopped ignoring it. But the point is, it's simpler to measure because the MilDOT is always in factors of 10, whereas MOA you got to work in nearly quarter inch increments.
Okay. He's saying he has a mil scope that has 8 clicks per mil. No, it doesn't have 8 clicks per mil. You're talking eight. It'll have 8 per revolution of the turret. It'll still have 10 clicks in between the mil, but it doesn't have the it only goes 8 mil per revolution. So people sit down and think they have a 10 mils of revolution in one, and you only have 8, you can get confused. I agree. But there are going to be 10 clicks between each mil, and the better scopes have 10 mils per revolution. But you sit down with a MOA scope and you're dealing with a quarter MOA per click. And so every time when you do the math,
when you make one revolution, you might be going 15, 16 MOA.
Right.
One revolution, not because I think it is about 16 MOA. I've never even counted on a MOA scope.
I have a couple of MOA scopes that have 25 per revolution.
Okay, well, that's 25 minutes of angle. That's quite
Right.
a long measurement.
It is, but if you look at it, it only will get you out to, with most guns, a 25 MOA will get you out 700, 800 yards. Whereas 10 mil, well, because it's a larger number, 3.6 times 10, you're at 36 inches versus 25. So you're getting farther out with each revolution.
All right, let's go back to a previous question, if you don't mind, Paul.
Yep.
Woodman finally got his comment up on screen, I think. I know Mike posted it. He wants to know about seating a key-style bullet in his chamber of his Henry.
Okay, he's got a Henry rifle and 44 mag, and I can't get a key style bullet to chamber. And I'm kind of leery about seating the bullet deeper. I would say that you can go deeper, but you're going to have to reduce your powder charge from what the book says to what you're loading to, and otherwise, I think a Keith bullet should work in that, but it's that extra crazy 1/10 of an inch that the crimping groove on that Keith bullet has in order to fit the 44 Magnum case and chamber. In other words, it fills it all the way to the end, and the shoulder is too close, so you don't have enough room to feed up there. So yeah, try moving it back. Start with a beginning load, move it back, and work from there. And
10% Woodman, back it off 10%.
yeah,
You can always come back up, but if you start out too hot, you're never going to be able to back down.
and what I would do is I would load one dummy up and find out where it feeds.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go playing with with putting together a whole bunch of loaded rounds until you find out where it feeds.
And Tom Boy's got another good comment up. Some of the
Yes.
wide Meplat bullets will not feed. He's absolutely right about that. Like my 210 grain bullets made out of a Seiko mold, they will not feed in my Marlin 1894. I have to single load them. Great question tonight. Great question and comments.
Yes, we've had some good ones. And we got SH4J 6-24. And I believe that's what you're looking at. Because that has 8 mil per revolution.
Let me unmute here. Yeah. So He said 10 clicks for larger optics and 8 clicks for smaller. So whatever he was reading, they said clicks. However, if you actually look at some of the scope descriptions, and I looked at 2 different ones, I looked at the EP5, which is a 5 to 25 by 56 first focal plane, 0 stop, in their extreme precision series, and then I looked at the Shooter Hunter series, the 4J 6 to 24 by 50 first focal plane. And both of them say that on the SH series, the Shooter Hunter series, it's going to be, the turrets are 8 mil, 20, I don't remember what the MOA was, but it's 8 mil per revolution. So full circle on your turret, which would be 8 clicks, is 8 full, or he was saying 8 clicks. It's actually 8 mil.
Right.
So it's
there's still a tenth of a mil in between each one till you get to the next number, big
right.
number.
Yeah.
It's
So
not,
it's a
yeah.
full. It's a full. Every full revolution is going to be, it's an 8 mil treble. So.
And it can get confusing if you have to go more than
Right.
than 10, because then you got to start adding to get the number. But they give you enough adjustment that you can go out to 1,000 yards with any of the scopes that they have.
Right. Yeah, and he says he I kind of misspoke. He said he copied it off Arkansas, and I said yes. And I don't know where he found that particular part at, but I'm just saying I found that under the scopes. So, Tommy, where did you see that, by the way? Tommy boy.
It's right here in the product details. Hang on a second, guys.
Because I'm showing.
And let's zoom up here. Let me get over. If you see, the turrets offer 8 mils or 20
Per
minutes
revolution.
per revolution.
Yeah,
8
I
full
want to know where
mils.
he found where he found what he found, so we can tell them to correct
Yeah.
that, so it quits confusing people. So that's what I want to know, because I can see where he was confused.
Sure. Yeah.
Because under the scope description, they've got the terminology correct. Wherever he found it, it's causing confusion because it's not the correct terminology. So.
See, it says here, it says turn adjustment, a tenth of a mil or a quarter MOA.
Right. So. Oh.
I think somebody had posted something wrong, but let's see.
That would do it. He said it was in their FAQ section, which would be in their forum, which unfortunately means anybody could have put it on there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm just going by their description of the glass, which is right here, which tells us the turret adjustments are a tenth of a mil or quarter MOA.
Right.
And
Yeah, so they've got the standard adjustment, the industry standard adjustment per click. And
right.
Then what it's telling, and this is where unfortunately the confusion was, is where it was unfortunately whoever put it in the forum, and I'm pretty sure that Arkin's probably not going to go fix that because it's in the forum. And they probably don't monitor the forum. But what it is they said 8 clicks, and it's not. It's 8 mils per revolution, and therefore they're screwing everybody up and causing confusion. So that's why terminology is important. Details are important. So
That's true.
words
Yeah.
mean words are important. So oh, even worse, Arkansas member. Well, hopefully they find the Arkansas member and slap them for being dumb.
Yep.
Because if they're a staff member, then that's a basic piece of information. It's not like you're talking about, what angle they ground the glass at. Okay, you're talking a basic piece of information that they really should know. So if
Yeah,
that's the
because
case, then
it's printed in their description and their specifications. So you would think that they, they probably didn't take the 2x4 out and hit the guy in the back of the head enough times.
Yerp. So anyway, but so yeah, that's pretty much all there. So we got that all straightened out. So anyway, maybe they realized it was a misspeak and they pulled it. I don't know. Hopefully. Anyway, so the standard technical watermelons had a little bit of a sour, so that got me being curious, and so I did open the sour ones, and they're not that sour. So if you're getting tactical snacks because you want sour, I'm sorry.
That ain't it, huh?
No.
Well, it was nice of them to send out something, though.
Yeah, it was a pleasant surprise. So I
Yeah.
will leave them a couple of nice, really good reviews, and I am happy. And so on that note, kids, Jim already talked about Patriot Patch Company. Just want to mention Camerado.com. Use coupon code RELOAD for 5% off. Make sure you swing over there. Lots of good stuff over there. Different types of clothing out there. From Sean and the gang, all sorts of cool stuff, and he's got some collaborations going on there. More importantly, GunCon 2025 coming up June 28th on the beautiful shores of Lake Erie. Make a weekend out of it. Hit the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame on Friday, hit the GunCon on Saturday, and then go laugh at the Guardians on Sunday. I don't know if they're in town that day or not. I don't know, but you can walk by.
If they're not in town, you can always go walleye fishing. That's fun.
Yeah, go walleye fishing on Lake Erie.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Or pan fishing, either way. But walleye's more fun and they taste better. At any rate, that about wraps it up for tonight. So, anybody got any shout outs?
Yeah, I do. Chico Wise, you're a generous man. Thank you, sir.
Georgia Shooting Connection. Chico hangs out with on Friday nights. Make sure you check him out. And he's also got his own stuff going on YouTube and Instagram and everywhere else. So, Chico's.
Didn't Chico make a mistake of hanging out with Shrenda one time?
Rumor has it a few times, but we make that mistake all the time. So.
There you go.
But Chico's a really good guy. Lots of good information, so check him out. Every once in a while when he's got time, he pops in the chat. So here. But
yeah. Georgia Shooting Connection. I'm gonna have to tell you next time I go that way, I'm gonna have to take some ammo and we'll go out to bust some caps.
Yeah. Just be careful because they shoot back in Georgia. So, on that note, gang, keep your brass shiny.
Jump on the Millsap short bus.
Grandpa told me, don't listen to your mama. Violence does solve problems.
I do love this show. Support the Second Amendment, guys. Always 2A. Second Amendment Foundation. Second Amendment Foundation and Gunners of America. And yes, I'm a benefactor member of the NRA. Notice I mentioned the NRA third, last.
The one reason to mention the NRA is those of you who are members, you guys need to step up and you need to get a hold of them and hold them accountable. Let them know
Sir.
that you're pissed. I am not a
Sir.
member anymore. If they wouldn't have dicked me over, I'd be a life member, but they dicked me over. So I've mentioned that a few times on the show. I had one payment to go in my pay-as-you-go life membership. They, no reason whatsoever, no notification, switched me over to a 5-year membership, and I found out about it like a year later. So, yeah. So
That's horrible.
yeah, nothing, and they wouldn't do anything about it, and there was absolutely no communication whatsoever. So they're like, well, we don't know why this would have happened, but you can do it now. Well, can I get the credit back for what I'd paid? No, you'd have to start over. Thanks, dicks. Anyway, so if they ever get their head out of their ass and get back to doing what they should be doing, then I'll consider rejoining then. So anyway, I plan on I will be at GunCon 2025. And right now the plan is to be at Goals, which is August 8th, 9th, and 10th in Knoxville, Tennessee. So I don't know if anybody else is joining us. I keep talking to Jim to hop in the truck with the camper and migrate his way up there, but we'll see. Maybe one or two of these I can drag Paul to, since I'm driving by him on the way. So
We'll see.
but that depends on how Paul is doing and whether we have to feed somebody to the pigs or not. Anyway, on a serious note, make sure you reach out to your elected representatives, local, state, and national. Let them know you're paying attention. Let them know you care. Let them know that you are watching what they're doing, and it is important to you. And be nice about it when you're doing it. And also, most importantly, if you're struggling, 988 or 1-800-273-8255. Reach out, give them a call. It's a place to start to get somebody on your side to help you fight the fight so that you can be here tomorrow. Because we want you here and we definitely need you here. So hang in there, folks. It's not an easy struggle, but it's a struggle worth fighting. Take care, folks. Have a good night.
Good night, all.
Not y'all.
No.